Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frenn Diagram. This is the podcast where two friends catch up and find common ground between their favorite media. I'm Remy.
I'm Kat, and today we'll be discussing our Frenn favorite, Lee Isaac Chung's Twisters. Warning, spoilers ahead.
Hey, Kat.
Hi, Remy. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I am so excited to talk about Twisters today. We've been looking forward to this all year, and I can't wait to hear about your experience seeing it and telling you about my experience seeing it.
Yeah, it was the event of the frickin' summer, baby.
I know. Summer's here now. Now summer has arrived.
Yes.
It's been horribly hot and awful, but summer didn't feel real until we had a real summer popcorn movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Tom Cruise would approve of this popcorn movie.
Yeah, and summer is here, and it's really freaking hot, and you got to go see it in the really cold Dolby room.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
How was that?
It was awesome. I loved it. Dolby room was the perfect choice. Huge screen, wonderful sound, very cold. I heard other people audibly talking about how cold it was as they were leaving.
Was it really full for your showing?
It was, yeah.
Nice.
I even went pretty early. I went to the Thursday night showing, so technically the day before it opened, and it was very full.
Did you get special opening night swag?
No, I wish. I saw other people getting that, and I was really jealous. Like, I saw people online getting it, not people at the theater. I would have been like, hello.
Yeah, our mutual friend went on opening night, and she got, like, a magnet that had, like, the tornado with the horns.
I know.
I
That's
was like,
what I saw.
Want.
I really want that.
Yeah.
I think, did she see it in IMAX?
No, I think they went to the Dolby room.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, the IMAX showings, I think, were sold out. And there was a cast Q&A associated with one of those, which was way, way sold out by the time I saw it. So
very cool, though.
It's possible they used all of the swag for, like, IMAX screenings instead.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure they ran out of swag quick in New York, but in Minneapolis, I think that it wasn't as extreme of a crowd.
Perhaps. I did get Kinds of Kindness swag when I went.
That's really cool.
I got a keychain and a car air freshener.
Wow. That's dope. I love that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's like 2 Yorgoses in a row where I've gotten stuff.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't get any swag, but it was so good. I loved my theater experience. We were actually in one of the smaller theaters at our cinema, and so it was quite full. But yeah, it was funny because during the trailers, I don't know if you had this experience, but Twisters is kind of in this weird genre, and I think that our theater didn't know what trailers to put with it. I don't actually know who decides what trailers play when. I'm not in tune enough with theater culture to know what that process looks like, but our theater was giving us a whiplash with the trailers. So
what were they showing?
We had Transformers, the cute kids movie.
Oh, yep, we had that.
To kind of tailor to children. Then this, like, really religious film about, like, this pastor who, well, he wasn't a pastor when he went to jail, and then he became a pastor in jail, and then he was, like, gonna be put to death. And anyways, right after that, they play Heretic. The Heretic trailer. And
Heretic trailer, yes.
Oh my god, what a choice. And then they played, this is a theater full of children, like parents that watch Twisters when they were in our age and have brought their children to come see this movie.
Disturbing then they showed, that we're old enough for that.
I know. Then they showed Speak No Evil, the trailer for that, which I was like, this is terrifying for small children.
Times. They play that in front of every movie I go to.
Yeah, and I just felt like we were getting whiplash. And then there was, like, another normal commercial or normal trailer for, like, not a horror movie. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow, the whiplash I'm getting from these trailers is wild.
Yeah, there was, I would say, predominantly horror trailers in front of Twisters at
What
my
a
theater.
choice.
They definitely showed the Wicked trailer.
Mhm. Yeah, we saw that as well.
But I thought it was a huge missed opportunity to show the Gladiators 2 trailer.
Yeah.
Like, this is the crowd for that. We want
Absolutely.
a popcorn movie trailer in front of the popcorn movie. I have not seen that run in front of anything in the theater yet, so it just might not be showing in the theater yet. But, I mean, I'm excited to see how that looks on the big screen because that trailer looks exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely interested in Gladiator 2 when that comes this November.
Yeah. Oh, before we get into the actual discussion of Twisters, I did want to say that I saw Sing Sing as a mystery movie a couple weeks ago, and that was fantastic. I highly recommend seeing that in the theater if you get the chance. I thought it was very inspirational and moving and just like really well done.
I've been hearing so much good stuff about that.
Yeah, definitely see it if you get the chance because I think, it's just a really powerful film and I'm glad that they made it.
Yeah, I want to try to catch that. I like Coleman Domingo. He's a cool guy.
He was so good in it. And
he does such cool projects.
A lot of the actors in it are actually ex-members of this program.
That's so cool.
The RTA program at Sing Sing. And so there's very few professional actors professional actors in the film. And you would never know. I was like, what else have these guys been in? They're so good. And I hope that they get a lot more work after this because I think that this could be like a real career changer for them, which is so cool.
That sounds awesome. That's a perfect proof of concept.
Amazing, and
I've heard, I didn't know that was the case, but without knowing that, I've heard so much praise for multiple performances in Sing Sing. So
it was so good.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you want to hear some other exciting movie news?
I do.
Do you remember last episode during our 2-year anniversary, I was talking to you about that Kickstarter campaign that I contributed to for Shelby Oaks?
Yeah.
Chris Stuckman's debut film.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about how they were teasing some upcoming news about it.
Yeah.
After I was explaining how Mike Flanagan is an EP on that. And I was correct that it was an announcement for a theatrical distributor.
Ooh.
Do you want to guess who's distributing Shelby Oaks?
My guess would be... Well, your excitement about it makes me think Neon.
It's Neon.
It's Neon!
You read the room.
So correct. That's awesome. Wow. And this is his directorial debut, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Feature-length film directorial debut.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know. I'm so excited.
I saw that it was going to a festival soon, too.
Yeah. It just had its world premiere at oh boy. I want to say Fantastic Fest, but that sounds weird now.
Yeah, I don't
Fantasia?
remember. I think I was just seeing it because my algorithm was like, you like Chris Stuckman? And I was like, I suppose I do.
I thought this would be easier to figure out. Yeah, so it just had its world debut at the Fantasia International Film Festival, but it's also going to be premiering at some other film fests this fall. So
exciting.
Yeah, I doubt I'll be able to see it at a festival, but it's going to get a real theatrical release through
amazing.
Neon. So that is, I can't even imagine it. It's like an actual best case scenario. So it's so exciting.
Yeah. We should go to a film festival at some point. That would be really fun.
It would be so fun. Is there a grant we can apply to?
I mean, there's some of the smaller ones are just you pay a lot of money for a ticket kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's totally graded based on how big it is or not. I guess I was just imagining the New York Film Festival.
That's maybe.
One day, maybe.
But yeah, I love that Film Scene has started doing a film festival each year.
Dude, I was so pissed I wasn't there last
for
year.
Werner.
For Werner Herzog, of course. They have.
Yeah.
My dream guest as their keynote speaker.
I know. That would have been so cool. I was gone too. Cool. I didn't get to go because I didn't live there anymore either.
I know.
But yeah, so that's so exciting. I'm really excited to hear more about like a theatrical release date and what the early buzz about it is, you know?
Yeah, I know.
I'm hoping only good things for him. So.
Me too. 2025 sometime. That's all I know.
That's not that far away.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's all the big news that I had to update us on.
Yeah, that's everything pretty substantial.
Well, we, as we mentioned, just saw the movie of the summer, and it certainly will be defining my summer. It's certainly a highlight, and I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Yes. We're both converging. It's both our favorite of the week.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing a Frenn Fave episode, and it's about Twisters, the 2024 film that just released, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, written by Mark L. Smith and Joseph Kosinski, based on work by Michael Crichton,
Woo!
Kat's longtime fave,
Woo!
and starring Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glenn Powell, and Anthony Ramos. And this update on our 90s favorite follows a former storm chaser named Kate who reluctantly returns to Oklahoma to try to make a difference studying tornadoes with some help from an unexpected mix of friends.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Kat, what's your first big picture impression of Twisters?
Oh my God. Okay. I felt like a little kid on Christmas. I think that there was like a huge smile on my face the whole film. I mean, not the whole film, because obviously some things you don't want to grin at in this film. But for the most part, I just felt so thrilled to see one of my childhood favorites, like, brought back to life. And wow, it was just a magical experience. I loved it.
I know. I absolutely loved it as well. I found it very energizing. It was exactly the popcorn movie I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Really exciting cast, exciting set pieces, and a lot of exciting updates to the 90s version.
Yes.
You and I absolutely love the 1996 film Twister, so, I mean, I was already coming in with buckets of goodwill towards this movie.
Absolutely.
So I guess I should disclose that up front. I was very predisposed to liking Twisters. And I, too, was really excited and left completely energized. And I was already talking to you before we started recording today that I cannot wait to get back to see it again in the theater.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, it was perfect. It was everything I could have asked for, honestly. I was like, it might not be a perfect film, but it's a perfect film for me, and no notes. I'm a happy customer.
I have a couple of notes, but that doesn't mean I didn't thoroughly enjoy it. Do you want to talk about some of our favorite aspects?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to just like go back and forth?
Yeah, if that works for you.
Yeah, sure. My first thing on my list is that I loved that it felt very distinct from the source material in a very intentional way, but that it kind of paid homage in certain aspects. And I think that it like was still giving kind of a nod to that source material in a very like distinct and original way. So I loved like that they brought back the time limit trope. And so basically like in Twister, Bill Paxton's character says like, you get one day, whether or not she flies, it's just one day. And,
you need a ticking clock.
Yeah. And she gives them like a week to collect their data and work with them. And I loved like the imagery of the dark tornado, like we see at the drive-in, we see it at the rodeo. In Twisters, like I thought that was really something that I wanted to see. I thought it was just like really iconic from the original. So I loved that they included that imagery. And I loved the role of the ride-along character. So in Twister, we have Melissa, who is Bill Paxton's fiance.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like a therapist, and she's just like tagging along for the ride, having
She's
all kinds of misadventures.
The sane person audience stand-in.
Yes, yes. And in this one, we get, I believe his name is Ben.
Yeah,
Ben. The journalist. And I thought he was fantastic. I loved like seeing him be like drawn to Kate as part of the story. Yeah, I just loved every second he was on screen, honestly. I thought he was a lot of fun.
I know, and I also thought it was extra fun that he's from London.
Yes,
right? I believe
South London.
There's just something a little extra special about him not being from the US that makes that contrast even more stark and just reminds you that we live in quite a country.
Yeah. Yeah. It is certainly Ben's first rodeo.
Yeah.
Or tornado.
No one knows how to say it. It's impossible.
It makes sense when it's on the shirt, but it's really hard to say out loud. Tornado. So, yeah, I liked that. I also, like, adding to the originality, I really liked that the contrast in the two female leads from the two films. So, Jo, my main qualm with Jo in the original Twisters is that she's extremely impulsive, and it puts a lot of people in danger at certain points. And on the other hand, Kate is like almost too cautious to a fault because of her trauma. And I think that we see two people processing their trauma in completely different ways when we look at the two films. And I just thought that it was really well done. And I liked seeing the fear of Kate. And yeah, I thought that it was very distinct.
Yeah, that's actually what I wrote down first as one of my favorite aspects of Twisters is the shape of Kate's arc in general. I really liked that. I thought her arc had a bit more shape than Jo's did in Twisters because in the preamble, we see what happens during, I believe, her PhD program that she abandoned because when she was trying to get some pilot data for a grant, things went awry. We're spoiling
I think so,
the film,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
It happens in like the first 30 seconds. If you don't want any spoilers, please pause now and go watch Twisters and then come back.
Yeah, that's your thorough spoiler warning that in the prologue, basically Kate's entire research crew dies with the exception of Anthony Ramos because his character sits back from the action. And so obviously she feels quite guilty about that, and that impacts her behavior in that she leaves the field for 5 years, or at least leaves the research field for 5 years. And that is what germinates her reluctance to return to the storm chasing world. And so when Anthony Ramos, his character, asks her to come back to help him out for 1 week, just 1 week, she is definitely pretty gun shy at first, understandably so, because she watched people die in a tornado and experienced it herself. And she is also, like you said, concerned about putting other people in danger. And I think that is kind of refreshing for a main character in that she's responding to the experiences she's had and also doesn't have like main character syndrome where she acts like her consequences have no actions. Exactly. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And she's drawing that to the attention of other people, saying like your consequences have actions. You need to shape up.
Yeah. And you know what other aspect I absolutely loved about Kate's arc in the story? I like that very sneakily we see her originally integrate with the bad guy team rather than what turns out to be the good guy team. And they kind of, I at least thought it was pretty narratively smooth that she integrates with the high-tech team with Anthony Ramos' character, and you kind of don't even think about the fact that she's in
totally
the updated version of Jonas's team until you see the contrast with the YouTube team led by Glenn Powell as Tyler Owens. And as soon as they basically reveal that contrast, I'm like, oh no, we're in the bad team, guys. Yeah. What's happening?
I loved that. I also thought it was a really fun choice for them to dress the guy that has like the sunglasses, like kind of like Jonas. Like he has the baseball cap on and he's got like kind of a baddie vibe. And I'm oh, they are trying to signal Jonas so hard right now.
Yeah. You mean Scott from MIT, right?
Yes, Scott from MIT. Actually, yes. Yeah.
He really good evil vibe on him. Great
so
job.
Good. He had a lot of really good like stone-faced comedic moments that I really enjoyed. I loved that performance. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was excellent. I'm so focused on his last name that I've kind of forgotten his first name. I know his last name's Corn Sweat. And he's going to be Superman soon. So
Corn Sweat feels like a really good name to include in the Twisters lineup.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm supposed to emphasize that it's Corin Sweat. Like Corin's Wet?
Yeah.
Or Corn Sweat. I'm so sorry, David Corn Sweat, that I don't know where to put the emphasis on your last name. I totally agree. I thought he was really suitably sinister, but really funny at the same time. Mm-hmm. Great job by him.
Yeah.
And I liked the shady dealings that we find out about the bad guy team. And I like that Kate susses that out relatively early in the film.
Yeah.
And that sort of kicks off her integration into the actual fun team.
Yeah. And they're fun. I love them.
Yeah. Because despite the fact that we were predisposed to be biased against them as sort of unserious people with questionable motives, it turns out that their ideals are actually much more aligned with Kate's ideals and her goals. And so her integration into Tyler Owens' crew, it feels natural but earned. And I liked that. Yeah.
And I loved that they were like so on board with the science mission. They were like, yeah, we've been having fun. We've been shooting fireworks up tornadoes. We love that shit. But also, our drone can collect data for you.
I was just going to say, but like Sasha Lane right away says, well, yeah, of course I can help you collect data with the drone. No questions asked.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. I loved it. It was amazing. Yeah. What a team. I love them.
I'll just close the loop on Kate's arc in that I like in the climactic moment, they let her round off her own arc on her own.
Yes.
And that almost never happens. I thought that was quite remarkable that she was the one that set out on her own to do the big thing.
Yeah.
And, that was the hero moment and she got it all to herself.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite rare. Yeah. And I liked that a lot.
Yeah. I think that whole sequence was where I cried the wings off of my eyeliner because I did my makeup all special. And then I was tearing up through that whole sequence because I thought it was really awesome. I was like, wow, a woman scientist fucking saving the world. Let's go. This is what people want. But yeah, I think you have hit that right on the head about her having that hero moment all to herself. I loved that. Mm-hmm. I loved that the stakes were high in this movie, and they in that opening sequence that we discussed where she loses her whole team, I was shocked about the outcome of that. I was not expecting all of them to die. I knew the male lead had to die because we had to have a romance with Glenn Powell. I was like, well, he's got to go in that tornado. But
and they were just framing him just a little too cleanly and sentimentally. I was like, oh, this guy's a fucking goner. See you later, guy.
So I was like, well, he's dead. But then literally everyone else is also dead. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
I felt like it was in Twister. I felt like it was just a little bit too idealistic of like, and if we just protect everyone and get them all into this barn, we'll save the whole drive-in theater, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the reality, I think it hits the reality on the head. Like, people are only going to be saved by you if they will listen to you, right? Like, you see this at the rodeo where they run into that hotel and they're trying to protect the mom and daughter. And those people are like, there's no tornado out there. Yeah. And then they like get into the car and they get sucked into the tornado because they were dumb. And they didn't listen to Glenn Powell and they didn't listen to Kate and they didn't get in that swimming pool. So,
and they were mean to service workers and they deserve to get sucked up into that twister.
And I just feel like I liked that about this film. I felt like it felt more like you were actually in a crisis scenario and not everything was going to be okay. And yeah, I liked that we came out of the gate really strong with that. And we were like, people are going to die here. That's what tornadoes do.
Yeah, we like some stakes.
Yeah.
Let's see. My next favorite thing. I think this is my favorite role I've seen Glenn Powell in. I think by far. He's great. He's a great actor. I love the whole Glenn Powell project. This is the first time where I feel like I've been 100% on board with his character that he's chosen. And I was like, this is perfect for him. This is excellent. What a perfect match. I really liked the way his character was written and the way he acted that character. And I think Tyler Owens on his face could come across as a very one-dimensional character. Yeah. If not written and performed correctly. But I think he demonstrated many qualities that made that character really likable and really integral to the entire film working. And some of those qualities were that while he was very confident, which fit his character and his role, and
the YouTube
some
persona.
of the things, the persona, yeah, but also like his confidence helped Kate develop in a way as well. So his confidence was important, but he wasn't completely infallible. Like he was wrong sometimes. He made the wrong call. He knew he was not the best weather person compared to Kate at times. And he was in trouble at times. He wasn't this hugely confident guy that made everything work for him. And he was a really great leader for his team and a very active character. But in a lot of ways, he was also very collaborative and a teammate as well. And he knew when to bolster the other people around him, like Kate or like his colleagues, and lead his team members, but also sometimes be a team member.
Yeah, and with that, I liked that there never felt like there was any friction with anyone on his team. Like, they were all team players, and they were all ready to commit and, like, either help out or, you know, have fun. Like, they kind of had, like, a jocular nature to them, where they like kind of were making fun of Glenn Powell's character and just like having a good time. And I think that the dynamic of Glenn with the team, he wasn't like, I'm a YouTube superstar and you better treat me like I'm a YouTube superstar, you know?
No.
He was very like grounded and down to earth.
And sometimes he was like embarrassed. Like, he knows the shirt's stupid.
Oh my god, yes.
So yeah, like, he was capable, but not invulnerable, which is, like, integral to that part leading up to the movie theater, which I absolutely loved when he needed to be rescued. Yeah. Like, he needed people's help. He wasn't this indestructible guy who can do everything perfect every time. And he was also assertive without being overbearing. And I think that's really important to the story because he has to be reactive to people's needs around him. And if he just had like a one-track goal for his character, it wouldn't integrate as well with everyone else that has their own goals.
Yeah.
And so I just liked that his character, in my mind, actually had these gradations and these nuance, because it was, I think, a trickier role to pull off than one might assume.
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, my God. Yeah, he's perfect. That was my next point as well, was that everything Glenn Powell did had me cackling. Like, I was cracking up. Exhibit A was when he was tipping his cap at Kate and working the crowd outside of the gas station initially. Yeah. I loved every second of that. He is eating up all of that attention. It was wonderful.
Perfection.
I loved when they're like outside the hotel and Kate is like rejecting him and that crowd, and she's like, "You went to school?" And then the girl with the dreads is like, "Look at his face."
Yeah.
A perfect moment. I loved everything about it. Exhibit C is when he brings Kate that pizza. Then she walks away, and then
closes
she comes
the door in his face.
And then she comes back to the door, and he's still standing there, confused. I loved every second of that. Yeah, that was perfect. And I think you can really see like the nuance in the performance there, because he's not sure if she's coming back, and he's not sure how long is weird for him to wait outside of her door.
Exactly. Yes.
You can see that all on his face. I loved that.
Yes. He's reactive.
Yes, absolutely. And then my final exhibit is Exhibit D, and it's when he shamelessly gives Kate's mom the t-shirt, and she's extremely unamused, and he like does not know what to do with that.
Yes.
The best moment. It's the best so moment. Good. I loved it.
So good.
Also, I loved Kate's mom. She is giving Midwestern moms so hard, and I loved every second.
Dude, Maura Tierney is the Southern mom queen at this moment.
So good.
She kicked ass as the mom in Iron Claw. She, I think, was secretly one of the best parts of Iron Claw. And she reprises that role here in Twisters as the down-home mom who's being returned to. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this was finish your PhD propaganda, and I did not appreciate it. I was like, the running away from our PhD, I can get behind.
I know. That's a tough beat for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I just thought Glenn Powell, it was just a perfect combination, like you said, of the way that his character was written, the way he was being directed, and the way he was acting the character. Like, the comedic timing on everything with him was incredible. He just seems so realistic. I don't know. Like, I loved that I could see him actually being like a YouTube streamer that goes out and does wild shit with tornadoes. I loved that.
But I also liked how instrumental he was in having Kate turn the corner and commit to trying to pick up her project again, essentially, because he actually offered tangible, helpful advice about improving the model. I forget the specifics of what he offered, but he gave her a way to move forward, and I thought that was a really cool way to like have a collaborative way of opening that avenue so that she can choose to start having that character arc and move into the hero role.
And he didn't like push her when she was like, "Hey, I'm like super traumatized by this thing that happened to me. Like, that's why I'm not excited about everything you're saying. Like, 'cause something bad happened to me and it really sucked." And he was like, "Yeah, I get that. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine." And then he leaves, and he's willing to just drop it. And then she's like, "I'm ready to do this now." And he like gives her time to think about it, which I think is the right move to do in that situation, you know?
Yeah. He always applied the correct amount of pressure in my mind.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject, do you want to weigh in on the central controversy of Twisters right now that people are debating on every platform as to whether they should have cut the kiss at the end of Twisters or not? Rumor has it that Steven Spielberg advised them to not have Kate and Glenn Powell kiss at the airport at the end, even though they filmed it and we've seen the bootleg.
Okay. I didn't see them kiss.
They don't in the film, but they filmed it and chose not to include it.
No, I think that's perfect. Sorry. Mm-hmm. This is how I feel. I didn't know that this was a controversy. Yes. But that's literally the next point on my list.
Tell me.
So I said, while it's clearly a budding romance, I love that it ends on a slow burn. It's much more realistic for someone who's finally processing a shitload of trauma and, like, kind of getting over not getting over the partner that, like, saved her life, and she still dreams about what he's, like, his last words, right? Like, clearly she's still dealing with a lot of unresolved issues, and I just think that it's not realistic for somebody who's dealing with that kind of grief and trauma to just, like, jump into a brand new relationship.
It's been 5 years, though.
It's been 5 years, but she clearly hasn't been processing anything. It's been, like, on hold until she returned to this place and has begun to face her fear, right?
Perhaps.
That's how I feel. I mean, I'm down to watch them kiss, but I think in terms of the characters, it makes more sense to not have them kiss. And I thought that that was a really good choice. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so I have a strong opinion on this. And I have to say, I see what you and Steven Spielberg are saying in that I agree. I think it's totally fine they didn't use the kiss at the airport ending because it would have made that feel like the terminus of Kate's entire character arc. And I don't want that to be the end point that it feels like we were building to. However, I think they should have kissed sooner. Thereby avoiding that being the end of the arc. Yeah. And I think it would have been more realistic if they had kissed when they were at Maura Tierney's house. Because that's when she turns the corner and she feels excited and energized about actually getting back on the fucking horse. Yeah. And this guy was extremely instrumental in that. And I think that would have been, like, the proper time when everyone's excited and they're like, holy shit, look at all this potential in the world for us and what we can do and what we can offer, and also, like, romantic potential. So I think there should have been kissing plus at Maura Tierney's house. That's what I'm saying. I'm on the David Sims team. We need more kissing in movies.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that tonally that would have made sense. But I feel like it complicates things because that environment is her memory is so tied to the past guy.
Sure.
Like, we see that videotape, we see that, like, found footage of him, like, recording her working on her, like, cloud microphysics, and, like, it's, like, that really sweet moment of her, like, us getting to see that, like, snippet of their relationship, and then it would have felt weird. So I think we would have needed to cut that. I don't think we could have both, right? We can't have, like, this really soft moment of, like, her previous partner.
Oh, yeah. Cut the home movie. I can see her projects in her diorama and get a sense of what she was working on without a home movie.
But I think it also shows you so much about her when she wasn't, like, fucking terrified of everything.
Yeah, but we also saw that in the prologue.
But then she gets her whole team killed, and she feels really bad after that.
We saw her excitement prior to that, I'm saying. Yeah.
And it's also trying to draw that parallel, too, between her being the tornado tamer and him being the tornado wrangler.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just think there could have been kissing, okay?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And if there was going to be kissing, I agree that that's the moment. I wouldn't have been able to articulate that, but I feel like you're absolutely right that would be the moment to do it.
Okay. Well, I think we made substantial progress in this debate.
Yeah. Stephen, I'm on your side.
Yeah, so. Stephen, there's common ground that we forgot to incorporate. There's common ground we could have explored in the film. Okay?
That's true. Yeah. So good. Yeah, that's a great question. Email us and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
When should they have kissed? When's the perfect moment for a kiss? I thought, like, when he pulls her out of the car. when they, like, rescue her. Anthony Ramos needs to get the fuck out of there.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. I must tell you, when he pulls her out of the car at the end and says something meaningful and, you know, appropriate for the structure of the scene, and then it cuts to Anthony Ramos, there was audible laughing in my theater because it was so clunky. And everyone was like, get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, we're glad you're still friends. We're glad his character was redeemable.
Mm-hmm.
And we're happy for you to have your old friends and your new friends, but don't structure that scene that way.
I mean, because, like, we get this beautiful moment where Glenn Powell is, like, having to be held back because he wants to run towards the tornado and rescue her because he sees the truck going out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, she's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got to be held back. Like, that's the moment, right? That's where all of the dramatic juice is. And I think that would have been a good kiss moment.
Yeah, I think that would have worked. Anyway, whose turn is it? I think it's your turn, right?
Yeah, we kind of comboed on that one because you asked me that question and it corresponded with my next point. My next point is that, thank God for stunt people. This movie had 79 stunt people in it. I counted.
Shout out to the stunt team.
Fucking incredible work. We got some, like, really cool car driving. I feel like I've learned a lot more about what stunt people do from The Fall Guy. So thank you to The Fall Guy for educating me about more of what goes into stunts, I guess. And yeah, I was shocked. Almost 80 stunt people.
I believe it. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like, all of those rodeo people, stunt doubles, stunt people. We love them. Everyone in a car at any point doing, like, the big squealy turns.
Lots of great stunt driving.
Perfection. Thank you to those stunt doubles. And thank you to all the stunt doubles that I'm not sure what you did, but I'm sure that you were absolutely crucial to this film getting made. And I'm so thankful that this film got made. So God bless the stunt people.
Great work, everyone. Do you want to hear what I absolutely fucking loved and came so close to exclaiming about in the theater?
Please tell me.
Paul Scheer, of course.
I know. That was my first text to you after I watched the film. I was like, it's Paul Scheer.
I saw him out of focus in the medium shot. I was like, is that Paul Scheer back there? I see him. I see him moving. That's Paul Scheer. I know it. And then he was actually in focus. I was like, I knew it. I knew it was Paul.
Incredible. Yeah. Oh my God. The flashbacks I was getting to Newark Airport just being the way Newark Airport is. And I was like, oh boy, triggered trauma.
He was excellent.
He was excellent. Mm-hmm. He was fantastic. Also, if what he said was true, me and Paul Scheer would be the same age.
I told you he's full of shit.
There's no way. He's been saying that his mom was a pregnant extra in the original Twister movie. And Paul, you're lying.
Paul, you're lying.
You are not my age. So
you could have been the baby and the pregnant extra. It could have been you, Kat.
It wasn't my mom. But
the timeline lines up for you. It does not line up for Paul. Paul, I did the math.
Paul, I'm sorry, you're fired, and they're going to cut me in as the airport security, and Glenn Powell's going to kiss me. So
we solved it, Steven.
Oh, man.
Do you have other pros you want to talk about, or do you want to talk about our favorite standout sequences now?
Ooh, I did not prepare that. I have one more pro, and it was that this movie really makes me want to own a truck, and I want it to have, like, a big cage on it, and I do want it to drill into the ground.
Yeah.
Desperately, that was so cool. Mm-hmm. I loved that truck, and I love whoever designed that truck.
I really wanted a truck, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was first thing on my list the next day, steal a truck. And head west.
Yes, I love that. I texted you the next day and asked how far west you'd gotten, and you said not far enough. Yeah, so many pros for this film. Guys,
Yes.
you've got to go see it. I'm so excited to hear about your favorite sequences, and I'm sure it will trigger memories for me.
Yes. Okay, let me run down my favorite sequences, and you tell me if I missed anything.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. The first one, I'm gonna go basically in order here. As far as I can tell. Yeah. As far as I can remember. Okay, first scene I really liked was when we see the aftermath of a tornado that has hit a town, and the YouTube crew actually is activated to help people. Mm-hmm. And it's the first time that Kate gets a hint that these people are maybe a little bit more substantial than she gave them credit for, and have more... What's the opposite of misanthropic?
I thought that they were being very honorable and charitable.
Yeah.
Because she's initially quite rude to them in that scene, because the girl, like, runs up to her and tries to give her some food. And she's
Sasha Lane just tries to give her food.
And she's like, no thanks. I see you guys over there selling your fucking t-shirts. I don't need this food. And she's like, no, we're like giving the food away for free. And she's like, no, it's fine. I don't need food. Like, save it. But she kind of gets like checked there. She has to check herself and be like, oh, I misunderstood the situation and I'm embarrassed about my behavior.
Assumptions. Yeah, no. I loved that. I love that they're looking for a dog too. That's exactly the job I would want to do.
He's so mad. He's so pissed at her and he's like, I gotta find this dog. Like, do you fucking mind?
Yes.
So good.
So I loved that. Loved a little comeuppance for Kate. Mm-hmm. Loved turning that corner on the fun team. Mm-hmm. That was great. Great groundwork there. My next favorite scene is the rodeo, which I'm counting as a sequence that goes directly into the pool scene. That's all one sequence to me, is the rodeo into the pool scene. That shit fucking rocked. It was
so good.
Incredible, so intense. Loved seeing those fucking horses on 35mm at the rodeo. Yeah. And then things kick off, and then we end up in the pool, the hotel pool. That was really intense. Yeah. I loved that.
The hotel pool is like empty and they're using it as like a safe space. You made it sound like it was a sexy date. Like, we end up in the hotel pool. It's like, ooh la la. Kissing and more in the hotel pool.
Kissing plus. No, yes, the pool was empty and it was not particularly sexy in the moment. But yeah, I think that's tied for my favorite sequence in the film.
I loved that.
The pool scene, very standout.
Yeah. Dark tornado. Mm-hmm. Perfection. Mm-hmm. I also really loved, like, the callback to the previous partner in that scene, because the mom is, like, surrounding her daughter and she's like, it's okay, I've got you. It's going to be just fine. And
I see.
Oh, I was, like, crying. I was like, oh my God, we're thinking about our boyfriend. It's so sad.
Our boyfriend.
I don't know what to call him. Our dead ex. I don't know. That sounds too... I don't know.
Yeah.
Our late boyfriend.
Yeah, loved that. The next standout scene that I really liked was actually Kate's monologue in the barn, where she is talking about how she thought she could make a difference, but that she was wrong. And then that monologue transforming into a collaborative effort to try again, but with better information and better experience this time. Mm-hmm. I really liked that. I found that particularly relatable, that how she communicated that feeling of being disillusioned, but then still parlaying that into something constructive. Yeah. I loved that. That was great. I love that barn, too. I wish I had an outbuilding like that fucking barn. For projects? Just a barn for projects? Are you kidding me?
I want that diorama. We need more dioramas. I would love to just make little tiny villages.
I'll build a tornado. I'll definitely build one with you if you can find us a space.
Oh my God. You need to move to Pennsylvania and have a studio where you remake furniture, you refurbish furniture, and then we can make dioramas.
Absolutely.
And they'll be amazing. Get your Frenn
Absolutely.
dioramas.
I really liked the sequence in the final town,
Mm-hmm.
but particularly the part when Glenn Powell gets pinned by debris on the street and his leg is pinned and the water tower is about to fall on him.
So
and
spooky.
Kate will not give up trying to unpin him.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like screaming at her to use a different technique.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're just like, Kate, that's not working. That's not working. Don't you remember when we talked about leverage earlier in the fucking film?
Our boyfriend
Don't you remember the dead dream boyfriend who taught you about leverage? And then Anthony Ramos' character swoops in and uses some fucking leverage.
Yeah.
When he did that, everyone in the theater just exploded. Everyone was cheering, clapping, screaming, because finally someone is being effective, and that rocked, and everyone was like, hell yeah, this dude he's back on the good team. Mm-hmm. We're all working together. That got the biggest cheer in my audience, is when we got Glenn Powell unstuck and the water tower came down. That rocked. And then finally just, loved it when Kate does the final test alone and heads out on the horizon.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. So yeah, I think my favorite is a tie between the water tower and the pool scene.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I mean, I love Dinner with Mom, which could fit in with the barn.
That's good too. No, that's its own thing.
Okay,
that was great.
Dinner with Mom was amazing. I loved the teasing dynamic between Glenn Powell and the mom, where they're talking about her running around outside with no clothes on, and he's like, keep your clothes on, it's fine.
Classic.
Is really good. Yeah. Dinner with Mom was really fun. I liked I feel like there was kind of a little montage of the collaborative effort where they're testing the first round of testing on the first tornado. Once Glenn Powell's kind of giving her a pep talk, there was kind of a prep montage there, and then they go try it. It doesn't work. And then they have a thinking moment, a lunch think. And I loved that. I was yes.
They figure out what's off in the model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I loved that. I could just watch that movie on a loop. I feel so good when I think about it.
I gotta get back to that theater, Kat.
Yeah. Depression who? Oh, man. Yeah. I loved all of the sequences you just brought up, too. That was really good. Let us know what your favorite sequence is.
Let us know.
Email us. What else?
Yeah, any final thoughts? I think those are most of the things I wanted to cover.
Yeah. Looking for the Dog was also kind of an homage to the original, because they have to find the dog with the ant. Yeah. And the dog's being a really good boy and laying on the ant. Mm-hmm. I was really scared for the mom. I'm glad that the mom was not in any tornado danger, because I was like, once we visit a family member, we know that family member's house is coming down. Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that they decided not to do that, and the mom was just a fun side experience. I don't know. Yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
Fire tornado. Didn't even talk about that.
Oh my god, the fire tornado. That was
how could we forget? That was great.
Oh my god.
That was sick as hell.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How does the car get turned back the right way?
Dude, I don't know.
I forget.
Movie magic.
I just forget. I feel like there was a reason, but that was very suspenseful, because Anthony Ramos's car gets overturned, and she's like, oh my god, Glenn Powell, we've got to go rescue them. And he's like, well, we can't get out of our car right now. Yeah. But we will stay here and make sure that he's fine.
I think a dumpster or some large piece of debris tips it back,
I think you must be right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What a cool, the CGI tornadoes. God, to be the person that is your craft. So cool.
Shout out to the VFX crew. Great job, guys.
Oh my god. Tornadoes are so cool, dude. They're so scary and so big. How are they so big?
I don't know, man. Tornadoes are crazy. I want to go to a rodeo.
I want to go in Glenn Powell's truck and go into a tornado and have it screw into the ground, and I want to be inside the tornado. I want to see what she sees when she looks up and sees the center of the tornado.
That would be sick as hell.
I don't know if that's what tornadoes look like on the inside. If you're a meteorologist, please tell me, was that just fake? Is that what a tornado would actually look like on the inside, or nah?
I bet they consulted someone to ask. They had to have.
Yeah, but then there's like, we want it to be cool.
We want it to look good. Yeah.
Yeah. And it did. It looked really good.
It was cool. It was really cool.
There were no cows harmed in the making of this film. Mm-hmm. There were chickens, which I loved when they drive through a chicken.
Are you saying the chickens were harmed or that they were just there?
I don't love that the chickens were harmed. I don't think that any chickens were harmed.
I doubt it.
They just kind of like drop a chicken on the hood of the car, and I loved that moment. It was really good. Yeah. I wore a cow-themed outfit to the Twister showing. Mm-hmm. I looked cute.
Did you get any acknowledgments for your outfit?
I did not.
Rude.
I know. That's okay. That's okay. But I was brave and I wore it. Even though I thought I was going to chicken out. I was like, I'm going to wear my cow bodysuit. And it
looked great.
Yeah, it was fun. And yeah, I also had these like shearling cow print pants. I was never going to wear them with the cow bodysuit, but I wasn't sure like if it was going to be way, way too hot or if it was going to be like a 70-degree day. So anyways, I've got cow shearling pants, and now for Halloween this year, I'm going to be a cow. Like just full cow.
You're all set.
It's going to be great. My Halloween costume is already set. Thank you, Twisters.
Thank you, Twisters. Thanks, Lee Isaac Chung, for making this film.
It was so good. Yeah. I might even like it more than the original.
Whoa.
Which might be heresy. But I really liked it. And now I want to watch everything Glenn Powell's ever been in.
Hell yeah. Actually, I did have some discussion questions about ideally what we want Glenn Powell to do next.
Ooh.
I've been thinking about this. A, because he has a lot of upcoming projects that I think will be really cool. Mm-hmm. And he has a really cool method to picking roles where he avoids like obvious franchise stuff, but also offers support to the types of movies that people say don't get made anymore. You know, obviously like a straight up rom-com or a straight up summer popcorn movie. Yeah. I think he does a great job bolstering those genres. And I'm particularly excited about the rumors that are saying that he's remaking The Running Man with Edgar Wright.
I have heard that, yeah.
Because that movie that could use some updating. I just watched it. The original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger the other day. It is dated as fuck. So if they could remake that, that'd be really cool.
I haven't ever seen that, but I have heard that rumor, so that would be really cool.
That would be really cool. And I think he's going to be in a legal drama, like a courtroom drama coming up, which I think would be really well suited for him. Yeah. That's going to be really cool. But I was trying to imagine who I would want him to work with just as a director, not in a particular project per se. And I thought about it. I didn't settle on a perfect match. Like, we know he loves working with Richard Linklater. They're both Texas guys. They've worked together on multiple projects, and I think that's a great fit. But I would really like to see him work with someone like Luca Guadagnino, who's like a sensualist and can really amp up that element of his performance that I believe he's capable of without, because he's really capable of having like a movie star persona facade when the occasion calls, but I would love to see a more nuanced, sensual, grounded performance, and I think Luca is really good at drawing that out of people. So I think that would be a very interesting matchup, and I think that principle will be proven in Luca's next film, which is going to star Daniel Craig, who is, famous movie tough guy, brute kind of guy. Obviously, he has range and does other stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah, totally.
I think if it works well with Daniel Craig, that'll be a great indicator that it could work for someone like Glenn Powell. That's what I would lobby for.
Ooh. What is a role that you think he'd be very good in, or like an archetype that you think he'd be very good in that you would want to see?
I think, I'm not saying they should remake this film, but if they made some version of Castaway starring Glenn Powell, I think it would be perfect because he could have chemistry with a volleyball or a piece of sporting equipment. He could do it. And I would be interested in seeing him do all of the hands-on physical labor aspects of a story like that. I think it takes a great skill to carry a solo performance in that way, and I think Glenn Powell could do it. I'm not saying he should do a Zemeckis team up, but I'm saying he could take on a role very much like Tom Hanks's role in Castaway.
For sure. Oh yeah, I love that.
Do you have any thoughts on what you think could be a cool choice for Glenn Powell coming up?
I don't know. I feel like I don't have a good base to draw very many conclusions on his work so far. I've only seen him in this film and Anyone But You. So I didn't ever watch like Top Gun Maverick or...
Oh, you should watch that, Kat.
I should. Yeah, I've never even seen the original Top Gun. Tom Cruise, don't hate me.
You don't have to understand.
No, I know, but I feel like I'd be into it. You know? I feel like I'd be into like the kind of adventure vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I really want to watch Hitman. I want to watch... What else has he been in?
I think most people started noticing him in Everybody Wants Some, which is a Linklater film. It's like the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Oh, I've never seen
It's about
that
a baseball team in college, and he's on the team.
Yeah. I think I just need more Glenn Powell education before I cast him in anything, but I would watch him do a rom-com any day. Any day of the week. I think he's so funny. I think he's just so good.
You have to see Set It Up on Netflix. Yeah, that's his breakout rom-com performance as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I really liked him in Anyone But You. I thought that was a fun film, and if you liked rom-coms growing up, I think that could be for you, because I was like a big rom-com.
Oh, yeah.
You talking about Tom Hanks made me think about like my Tom Hanks obsession as a small child. I just loved anything with him in it and would watch him in a rom-com any day. And I think that the comedy that Glenn Powell can bring to a performance like that is he's not too self-serious. I think he's willing to kind of like play around with a role, and I think that that's very good, you know?
Yeah. Have you seen his dog Brisket?
I have not.
You gotta check that out too.
Did you see that he posted a picture, or I don't know if he posted a pic, or it was a tweet or something? I don't know. He posted some kind of picture of him with Bill Paxton. And
I did.
Because they were
that
friends.
That was so sweet.
I know.
That was very...
Oh my God.
That was a very sweet tribute to Bill Paxton.
I know.
I quite liked that.
Yeah, it was very sweet. And yeah, rest in peace. But I can't wait to get back to the theater.
I know, me too. We got to rack up that box office.
I know.
It had incredible, I didn't even bring up, it made over $80 million on its opening weekend. It had very successful opening weekend. So let's get out there a second weekend.
Yeah, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes was fantastic. Hold on. What was that? I mean, obviously the critics are going to be critics, you know? So it's 77 critic score, but a 92 audience score, which is exactly where I feel like I am. I think I rated it 5 stars.
I think those both feel right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm a little shocked that the critic score is as high as it is.
Well, I mean, get out there, be your own judge, see what you think, and then come tell us what you think about the kissing, first of all.
Yes. Kissing plus.
And what you think Glenn Powell should do next.
Yeah, just lots of kissing in that one.
More kissing. More kissing in everything.
More kissing in The Running Man.
I mean, imagine how much kissing in a Luca Guadagnino film he'd be doing.
Yeah.
Lots.
Totally. Lots.
We've selected him for a reason.
True. Well, let's go back to the movies. Let's go right now.
Let's go.
See you there.
See you there, Kat. Thanks for joining us this week on Frenn Diagram. Thank you to Tyler Seek for the creation of our intro and outro music. Did you take any of our recommendations? Have any thoughts on the show? Let us know at frienddiagrampod@gmail.com, and we might read your email on a future episode. If you can, please take a moment to rate and review the show on your podcast app of choice, and we'll see you back here, same place next week. Bye for now.